Well, good to have you back with us. So, Justice Mary Odili's invasion gets our focus as there's lots of revelations at the moment. Perhaps we should begin with you, Dr. Mohammed, in Abuja. I wonder what kind of conversations are ongoing right there at the center, the FCT, about the invasion on the home of Justice Mary Odili.
Mr. Kelly, it is really unfortunate that the house of Justice Mary Odili, was invaded. If this can happen to high-profile personalities in this country, what of the common people? So what I read yesterday, or what I heard, or in the capital here, and the news making the rounds, is that those 14 suspects that were arrested, those 14, are you hearing me? Hello? Hello? Well, I'm sure we can.
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead with your thoughts, please.
Okay. So we are not unaware what the PPRO, Mr. Frank Mba, told us, that about 14 of these suspects, some are journalists, some are herbalists, some are lawyers, and what the declaration they made. So one, Mr. Ajudu was saying that our first lawmaker in this country, the Attorney General of the Federation, that is consulting for him. But the Attorney General has distanced himself from what this man said, and has said categorically that they should count him out. And that even this day newspaper we read yesterday, that this Mr. Ajudu worked with them over 15 years ago. So I think they cooked this thing, and they know why they went to that house. They said the house that they were giving warrant to invade was number 7, but they went, no, it was number 9, but they went to number 7. So if that is so, we should be able to come together and make sure that a high-powered investigative panel should be put in place to unravel the mystery behind this very, action that will not see Nigeria as a standard country the world over. Because if this thing can happen, I think there's more to it. And we know they should come out plainly and tell us, those sponsors, why should, so some of them said they went there because of foreign currencies, that one of them went to EFCC, even swore an affidavit that there was money in number 7, which is close to Mary's house. So if that is so, who gave them that warrant? We want to know. Is it true that they
it's a very serious issue. Well, Doctor, I mean, stand by. Let's get some reactions here from the studios, and then, of course, we'll check in with you in just a moment as well. Gentlemen, Tony and Stephen, thank you so much for also being here as well. So there are a number of issues, but perhaps we should begin with you, Tony. I wonder what exactly the questions are begging for answer when you look at this particular case. I mean, beginning from the issue of the warrant, the address, who gave the order, the AGF responding. I wonder which bothers you the most.
All of them bother. It's just part of what we're discussing here. It shows a nation that is not serious, sincerely speaking. I watched the police parade
14 suspects.
14 suspects 2 days ago, and a chief superintendent police was supposed to lead, said he led the team, and then in pursuit, it's still looking for them.
Still at large. Yeah.
And he said he walked He works for the office, in the office of the attorney. He works for the attorney general.
Oh, yeah.
And then the attorney general came out later and said, I don't know him. He must be, and give all kind of invective and names. That is not. He go and he tells you that there's more we don't know yet. He tells you that, and he does not. He doesn't show Nigeria in a good form. He doesn't portray us in a good at all. This is a negative part. I mean, we should do something now. It's part of we moved from building collapse and this, and I'm not seeing any disconnect. It's all they're all in the same shape and sizes. The whole Attorney General of the Federation is coming and just disputing it like that. He doesn't want to take issues seriously. I expect him to go to court and challenging a police for defamation, for allowing that particular guy to mention his name. But I think that's where the matter dies. And the police has moved on. It's not done. We're talking about the chief, one of the second in command in the judiciary. Yes. After the Chief Justice of the Federation, Justice Mary Odili's house in the night was invaded. Until now, nobody has come. EFCC denied, police denied, the Office of the Attorney General denied, and then we gathered some people 2 days ago, and we're saying we don't know anything. This one led us there, and a whistleblower, a magistrate issued a warrant. Till now, we don't know the magistrate. We don't know people who are responsible for this, and we think we are making progress. Yes. And we are laughing over it. I mean, we are not serious yet.
Stephen, at this point, do you think the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister for Justice should probably be invited for questioning? If it wasn't a big figure in question, would the police have gone after such a person already?
Your last question, yes, the police would have probably gone after the person and they would have probably arrested that person. But let's look at this thing on a whole new level altogether.
But you're not asking if he should be invited for questioning?
Of course he should have been invited for questioning. Of course.
By the police?
Yes. Now let me break it down and probably bring it home quickly. The Odili'S, I'm talking about Justice Mary Odili and her husband, Dr. Peter Odili, are big fishes in the pond of Nigerian politics, whether we like it or not. Let's face the fact on the ground. Peter Odili had been governor for 8 years. 8 years. And of late, he had to go to court to try to get his passport that was seized by the SSS. There have been rumors of the EFCC wanting to prosecute Peter Odili for corrupt charges for quite a long time, but all of them, when they come, it gets to a certain level and it is waived off. And I also understand that some members of the ruling party are not too comfortable with Justice Odili because she happened to have presided or sat on matters and have taken decisions on matters that concern APC, and she had gone the other way. So there is can I say that they seem, the two of them, the couple actually seem to be like a group of people that some people want to push out of the system as quickly as possible, but they don't really have a way of doing that. Bring that to let me also take us back to around January 2016 or thereabout, when houses of judges were invaded in the name of corruption. And some of us stood here and said, no, you don't do that, because judges are seen as the eye of the government and you cannot just go and invade the house. And a lot of people justified that. Now, if you marry that, between that justification by those people and today, how many of those judges were convicted? How many?
One even died in the process.
That one died out of frustration of the fact that he was offering a service to his nation, and he's been accused of corruption, a corruption charge that the nation itself couldn't prove. So I'm not surprised at this move to invade Justice Odili's house, because it's always been there. There is always this attempt to rob the couples. Now getting down to the nitty-gritty of it, there are lots of questions to be asked, and neither the Attorney General of the Federation, the Inspector General of the Police, even down to the Chief Judge of the Federation. All of them have questions to answer. But you see, nobody is doing anything. They are just doing washy thing around and hoping that this thing will, at the end of the day, die down and move away and all those things like that.
Yes.
That is where we are heading to right now.
And it's a shame.
And it's a shame, true.
So perhaps I should bring in Dr. Mohammed as well. Dr. Mohammed, so I wonder, do you think that this invasion was politically motivated? That's on one side. The part two of the question is this invasion any different from the Walter Nohen case, the Sunday Igboho case, you think?
Well, there are two different aspects to it. That of Sunday Igboho was somebody who was looking for, gunning for Yoruba nation. And the DSS said they had all the necessary documents to nail him. And they got the search warrant and they went to his house. This one is a different one. Well, I heard the governor of Rivers State yesterday saying that it's just they went to invade the Justice House because of 2023, but he has no proof to that. Well, even if there are political leanings to these things, all we need to do, Mr. Kelly, this country, there are a lot of problems that we have on ground, which we must have to solve. So we know Nigeria is a young country. We are just 62 years in independence. And we always compare ourselves to the developed climes like America and Europe and the rest of it, which took them over 200 years before they became what they are today. So all we are saying today, whether it is politically motivated or whether there is tribalism into it or any sectionalism, all we want, this one should be a litmus test. We want the police to do the right thing. Mr. Stephen, you are saying they should call the #1 chief law of the country for questioning. Why? He has already distanced himself from that quack. And he's saying that person, that consultant, he doesn't even know him. That is a dying man. It's a drowning man who wants to die with many people. So the time to call...
Is that enough?
They should do it thoroughly and bring whosoever is involved.
Distance himself from this invasion. I mean, don't you think he should also be invited for questioning? Don't you think that a certain investigation should also be ongoing at the moment about his position? He has been a subject of controversy in this administration for quite some time now. Don't you think so?
I'm not saying they should not call Mr. Malemi, but it's too early. We should not be running, ahead of which is unnecessary. Let us do the right thing now. Police should be given the preliminary chance to do their investigation. Then when they reach certain point and they feel that all the suspects or the person that is calling himself consultant to Malemi, if he keeps saying that he wants Malemi to be called for questioning, why not? This is Nigeria. But you see, we should not bring sentiments into this thing. Everything in Nigeria, they will bring in south to north, like my other man there, who always think the north has nothing to do in this country. It's not like that. We are supposed to make sure that Nigeria is one united. The last time we had this type of,
Itching to react to some of the issues and points you have raised. Maybe we should keep it with us and get some reactions, and then we'll come back to you again, Dr. Mohammed. Tony and Stephen. Okay, Stephen first.
First and foremost, let me say that this issue is not there is no sentiments on this issue. In the first place, Malami is a servant, or is a servant of the Temple of Justice. He is the Temple of Justice, where his position in this government, he is supposed to protect all judges. He's supposed to protect the judiciary. And if there is a slight security breach within the section of the judiciary, regardless of him coming out to deny and say he does not know, there is a need for him to be investigated. How did it happen? Where were you when this thing was going to happen? There was a magistrate that issued
the warrant.
The warrant. How come this thing got to the magistrate, and the magistrate even ordered the warrant?
All right, so
who is that magistrate?
Yes, so
those are questions that needed to be asked.
Indeed.
And they have not been asked.
Strong questions. So our viewers are already beginning to call. We'll take your calls just after this reaction from Tony.
Yes. Please, Nigeria should be on the speed lane now. I'm tired of people saying, some other countries have developed 40 years ago. It took them time. But we're not making this kind of silly mistake we're making. You were correcting it as we were progressing. And that's why we look up to them today for references and all that. We're talking about an attorney general here. Somebody, a chief superintendent of police, not even a middle level officer yet, is telling you, is body telling the police that the attorney general, he knows the attorney general. And we're saying he's not, because he's the attorney general. Who was he before the attorney, who was made the attorney general? Who was he before he was made the attorney general? People should be made to answer questions in this country. And don't say because the office is your company. Who made him that? Who made him that?
Well, I mean, investigations.
Who made him attorney general? And then for police to come out and parade, I'm assuring you that the issue is over. If police officers who are involved are coming out, they are telling the police hierarchy that so person were involved. And then, I mean, how does police carry out this investigation? Coming out public means the matter is over, is dead. And I can assure you, nothing's going to come out from that case. And if we keep progressing like this, we are not going to make headway. Let's be realistic. Let's tell ourselves the truth. Not because of where we belong. I mean, we should be bothered sometimes. Otherwise, we won't make any progress. Enough of this nonsense.
We'll discuss the angle of the governor of Rivers State, yes, on Wike. But let's get some feedbacks from our callers. Thank you for joining us. What's your name and your present location?
Yeah, good afternoon. My name is Chinedu. I'm calling from Delta State.
All right, go ahead, Chinedu.
Yes, my opinion is this. This country, I don't know what our leaders are doing this country to. We need to encourage the group. And since this regime, our leaders are really not like a military group. They don't want to shut down the democracy in this country. Chief Justice of Nigeria, they don't have done a process not to put of security or to direct or not direct. In another day, it becomes of a message in Anambra State. But what I want to president of this country are being the chief of justice. Because it's not a president, but it lives like as a president. It talks like a justice. It talks like, let me say, even the culture of Nigeria to use to talk to the Banana Republic of but our leaders don't want to say it. But when you say they are covering that they are from North, they are from South, that's not the truth. The truth are there. Everybody, Nigeria,
we have to let you go at this point. But when you call us, make your points, just go straight to the point and share with us what your thoughts are. And of course, when you call us as well, you remember we always have a sort of a deal with you on the other side. You have to turn down the volume of your TV set or just move away from your TV set completely. We'll keep ending those calls so long as we get hold bags and of course switching sounds. Thank you for joining us. Good afternoon. What's your current location, please?
I'm calling you from Nasarawa State.
From Nasarawa State. What's your name, please?
My name is
All right. The thing is very simple. When you call us, turn down the volume of your TV set and just move away from your TV sets completely. That's absolutely the deal. That's the deal, absolutely. And we want to ensure that the conversation is smooth enough for whoever is listening at this point in time. Else, we would keep ending the calls until you can. Just stick to the rules. Turn down the volume of your TV set or move away from your TV set completely. You cannot listen to the phone and your TV at the same time. Thank you for joining us. Good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes, so what's your name, please, and your...
My name is Victor Christopher. I'm calling from Port Harcourt over this matter.
From where?
Port Harcourt. I'm calling from Port
Okay, Port Harcourt, the River State capital. Yes, so your governor has reacted to this particular incident. He has said that he has fingered the federal government on this. Do you think this is a tactics from the federal government to intimidate the judiciary, as your governor says?
Yeah. My own point is that why should the magistrate and the chief attorney general not in this matter? The magistrate said they came from the office of chief attorney. Why is it that when issues are raised, it's only the small people, the people are called the impoverished people that will be paraded? This country is civilized enough to present people who are involved in issues. You don't have to separate the deed or the ritual from the less important people. I'm angry. It's a shame.
Yeah.
It's a shame. There was a magistrate who signed that thing. Where's the woman? Where was not paraded? What are they at? We should stop that type of investigation in this era. We are in the 21st century. We are in the 21st century. Some of us are enlightened enough. But we keep making us think we are in the 60s.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your thoughts. It's beyond 60 seconds. We have to take other feedbacks as well on the program. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Good afternoon. What's your name and your location, please?
Yeah, my name is Victor Christopher. I'm a journalist. I'm now calling from River State.
All right, interesting. We're getting so much calls from Rivers. Go ahead.
Yeah, from River State. Yeah. I'm saying that the magistrate and the general should have been paraded. They should have been paraded.
Okay.
I hear now. The issue starts from the magistrate who signed the warrant. Why are they not paraded?
All right. That's indeed an interesting point. Thank you so much for that, gentlemen. The feedbacks are amazing. But our last caller said the magistrate and AGF should have been paraded.